Michelle,
Hi.
Inhale Wellness Studio.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, a little this, a little that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, mostly I'm just kind of hanging out in the world of acupuncture these days, Chinese medicine. It's pretty cool.
How did you get into this? Did you know very young? Is this something that you started later? How did you get into acupuncture?
Yeah, so it's a long, meandering story.
Yeah, we have time. Yeah.
So it started out, well, when I was in university, I was going for psychology. My bachelor's was in psychology.
Okay.
And then with an intention of going on to law school. And I was working in a law office as a paralegal at the time. And I just wasn't feeling it anymore. And so when I was supposed to be searching for law schools and taking LSATs and doing all that kind of stuff, I just started pursuing yoga schools. Yeah, I know, it's so different, right? I had been doing yoga and practicing for a really long time. And yeah, so I started looking for yoga schools. And when I graduated with my undergrad, I peeled off and went to yoga school out in California.
And what was that? Was it was it a 2, 3, 5? What was the program?
It was a 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 200. So just kind of like a basic introduction. Its foundations were in the Ashtanga system.
What does that mean?
Ashtanga system is something that was put together by Patabi Joyce in India, and it has a huge following. And it's the same poses all the time.
Okay.
And it's laid out in a very specific way to, kind of target everything. Funnily enough, I'm pretty sure that it was designed for kind of training young male warriors. And, now yoga is a bunch of middle-aged female women for the most part, but Ashtanga tends to attract the people who are kind of type A-ish and really want to get something.
Is that because the
done.
practice is also very structured, like a type A?
It's very.
Is that with
structured.
26 and 2 Bikram? Is that very similar? Or?
It's got way more postures than that, but it's the same. It's like structure.
The same thing every time.
It's right. Yeah, it's the same thing every time, and it comes in a couple different. A couple different ways. So there's a Mysore practice, which is where you go to a studio and meet up with other people. And there's a teacher there, but you're basically doing your own practice by yourself in a space with other people. And the teacher is there to assist when you get stuck, either not knowing what posture comes next, if you're new to the practice, or you're practicing some more advanced poses and the teacher is there to give an assistance to getting you toward that. So
it's like an open mat.
That's the Mysore style. And then there's, of course, the lead Ashtanga where they tend to do like the primary series, Sun Salutes to start it out, the primary series. And then toward the end of the primary series, it kind of shifts and changes depending on who's teaching it and what the clientele is. Because at the end of primary series, it gets a little bit more intense in its advancement.
It's like if you have to modify it for a group, or like if you kind of know you have a couple students that can go all the way through the full pose. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's where I started everything out. And then
you said in California?
Yeah, in California.
It's where were you in college? Like how far of a travel was that for you?
I was finishing college in Marietta.
Ah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So that is like cross track.
Yeah.
You cross the country for sure.
Yeah. And so I don't do really primary series practice anymore, Ashtanga practice anymore. It did spin into like an Ashtanga vinyasa, which was more fluid, dancey. It's kind of what most people are doing when they're talking vinyasa style, But my friend Liz Chamberlain, I don't know if you know her.
The Chamberlain name sounds familiar.
She used to have Bodhi Tree yoga.
Yeah, Serenity Roots. I never went to it when it was Bodhi Tree House.
Yeah.
But I went out to the building. It's like all the same building.
Yeah,
right? It's really beautiful out there.
Yeah. Well, and she's now moving around. She's like kind of moving around Athens. She is. She partners with that jiu-jitsu group that used to be One Academy.
Yeah. Carlos, yeah.
Yeah. So she teaches at One Academy and offers some classes there. And she's very much the Ashtanga style, primary series, all of that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So people who are interested in that, that's where they should go, is hang out with Liz, because she's stellar. She's really good.
That's awesome. So you graduate from Marietta, you go to California, you get a yoga teacher training. Like, did you think, I'm going to go get that and come right back? Like, or were you like, I'm going to California and one of the things I'm going to do is get a yoga? Like, what was your mindset like getting out there?
Yeah, no, I was coming back, but I graduated from Marietta College. I actually sold all my things, and I went to Hawaii with the intention of being in Hawaii for about 5 months before I popped over to San Francisco to do my training.
Cool.
And so I went out to Hawaii. I was there only for a month, not 5. I was actually there for a week and was so homesick. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, So
Were you traveling alone?
I was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was super homesick. And it was the time, this was probably way before your time.
Yeah, I was born in 97.
Yeah, this was 2003 when I went. So this is way before your time. But in that time, cell phones were on these, like, they weren't like they are now. They were on these, like, you have hours that you can call that doesn't cost more than your plan. And then if you call outside of those hours, it's like an astronomical fee.
Yeah.
And so, I was out in Hawaii. My family is here in Ohio. And there's a 6-hour time difference. And so I would have to wait until like almost midnight to call home to be within the plan hours.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was really wild. So I was super homesick. I decided to like change my flight, come home at the end of the month, just spend a month there, whatever. And then of course, biggest lesson I ever learned, like that trip was so cool on all kinds of levels. In that I went there, felt awful, because I was by myself. I'd never traveled by myself. I'm in this beautiful place and I have all these conflicting feelings, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so beautiful, I should be enjoying myself. But also I was like so far from home and had never done this before and all that. And so all these conflicting feelings. But by the end of the month, after I'd changed my flight to come home, I had met people. I was getting into a groove. And of course, by the end of the month, I didn't want to come home, but didn't have the, the resources financially at that time to be able to go, well, forget it. I'm not going to. I'm going to extend this flight again. Right. So I didn't. So I did come home, and then I did some more work in the legal field as paralegal.
Also, so you saying home is like Marietta home?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I just kind of, waited out the next 4 months before I hopped back on a plane and went to California.
How did you even find, the yoga class? Or like, why did you pick the one in San Francisco? Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So I had been, in the time when I was supposed to be searching for law schools, I had started searching for yoga schools. And my requirements were that I wanted within that program, I wanted people from the culture to be teaching. I didn't just want to be in another Americanized studio, with an American slant on it. So I was looking for programs that met that requirement.
Direct to source, yeah.
Yeah, and so the program I found was at Green Path Yoga Studio, which is no longer there. But they had, within the training program was Green Sufi, and he passed, sadly, but that's what drew me there. I went to their website, and at the time when you opened their website, there was a picture of the globe, and then out of the center of it, the Om symbol like grew really big and kind of like come out of the screen at you. And so when I went to their site, that happened, and I was just like blown away, like there was something about that really spoke to me. And then I started looking into it, and I saw Green Sufi was part of the program. He wasn't the lead of the program, but he was part of the program and the teaching. And I was just, I don't know, it felt right.
What did it end up being? All of that you expected?
Yes.
Nice.
And
good.
more.
And
more.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I think I started like middle of November of 2003, and the program finished up at the middle of December, and so I went and lived
Oh,
there.
so that's like pretty quick. Is this like
Yeah.
5, 6 days a week or what?
Yeah, well, so it was long weekends,
Okay.
and then you had all these other requirements, and some of which you could finish up, like after the program
I
ended,
see.
you had a certain period of time to finish up different requirements.
Like readings, book report. Like, what do you mean by requirements? Yeah.
So you could do, like, you have to do so many yoga classes
Yeah.
with certified teachers. You had so many assignments that you had to do that were reading or writing based assignments
Yeah.
and things like that. And so some of those could be done in the after parts.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it all, while I was there, because at the time, again, I was living in Marietta, Ohio. There wasn't yoga going on
Yeah.
there. I think there was one woman named Virginia Henthorne who was teaching a class, and at that time I didn't know her. Because I wasn't in that world yet, and so I didn't even expect that there was anything there. So I just wanted to get it all done while I was out there. So,
Yeah.
and I wasn't doing anything else, right? Like I was
True,
there
yeah.
for that. So for 5 weeks, I was there just living and breathing yoga. I worked part-time in the studio as
Nice.
part of a trade that I set up with them for part of my tuition. So I worked in the studio, and so, which was great because I wanted to open a studio. So I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
like on the job training.
Yeah.
And then I lived with one of the yoga teachers that was in that program too. He had a spare room, and was kind enough to rent it to me while I was there. So
Just
I
fully
stayed there.
engulfed. Yeah. Working there, live it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it was really great and super life changing. And I actually didn't think I was going to come home. Like, it was one of those last moment, I'm going to go to the airport and get on the plane and come home kind of things. Because up until that very moment, I was just like, I don't know that I want to leave, which was also new for me.
Yeah. Good self-awareness. Yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't know what I want to leave. So I came home, and then I spent like the next 6 to 8 months living in Marietta in body, but living in San Francisco in spirit, and I was part of a women's group out there. And so I was like constantly on the boards, with what we were talking about there. And I went back 2 or 3 times between when I was finished in December and the end of the next year.
Oh, really?
And and then I was just like, I have to pick, like I cannot live in 2 worlds.
Yeah.
And so ultimately I ended up picking to stay in Ohio, partly for the financial reason, but then also partly because it was like what the practice and what that lifestyle and what that turn toward health and mindfulness and awareness could offer people that didn't have that already, right? Like there just wasn't that big of a scene at that time in 2004. There just wasn't that big of a scene in Marietta, even in Athens.
Yeah.
Like there just wasn't that big of a scene. And so I was like, I actually have more purpose and more work here than somewhere where it's just saturated,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
it's a better place for me to be here and to share that here and to help people kind of unlock that part of themselves that they didn't even know was missing, and it's hard to describe until you're in a practice, until you're like really committing yourself to being with yourself, because that's really all it is. Like whatever, there's this physical practice where you move your body around and it feels really, really great. But that physical practice is also just the access, the gateway to being with yourself in all the possible ways you can be, right? It's uncomfortable, it's blissful, it's, like you want to run away, you want to stay put, like all the things are happening at all the times. And so I was like, there's more work to be done here. Like this is where I'm needed, not out there. So I ended up making the choice to stay and opened Inhale and just it's
That's crazy. So you were
gradually
like,
changed.
for sure. So like you were like, I'm not doing law. Like you go to this yoga class and you come back and it's just like, I have to start a business. Like, so then what is that like? Like, had you had any type of entrepreneurial experience before that? You had the experience at the studio or whatever, but yeah, like what's your mindset becoming an entrepreneur, opening a yoga studio? Yeah.
So I think like most people who who start out businesses, it's like, I came to it with a passion and an inertia behind it that this is the right thing to do, like the universe has my back kind of thing. And then I was scared as shit, like I was just like, holy smokes, can I actually do this? Right. But the passion and the inertia were so strong that the self-doubt just had to take a back seat.
Yeah.
And so, again, in 2003, 2004, like I was so in debt, school debt, credit card debt, like living in a way that I thought was the American dream, which is not, and so I just had so much debt accumulated that it was really rough to consider like doing this thing and how am I going to survive doing this thing, right? And so I approached my grandmother, who is like my sounding board for all things crazy and exciting.
Shout out to Grandma.
Yeah. And so I approached her. At the time when I went to yoga school, I was actually living in her basement.
Oh, okay.
And so I approached her and I said, I had moved to Marietta at that time. And so I had said, I've got this dream, like I've got this thing. I want to do it. I know I can make it happen. I have $0. Will you fund me? And she was like, what do you need? And I was like, I think I can get it done with like $6,000, which felt like an astronomical amount of money to ask for, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, and that I was just kind of like nail biting, like, oh, I shouldn't even ask for that, right? And so I was like, I think I can get it done with $6,000. And she said, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I think that'll do. And so
where did that number come from? Did you actually just pull that out of thin air, pull it out of your ass? Like,
pretty much.
Sure,
I mean, I had seen a building that I wanted,
Okay.
and so I knew what the rent was going to be.
Yeah.
And, because I looked in the world of yoga props and all that, I kind of knew what I wanted and, that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of put together this like pen to paper, that'll probably be good enough.
I'll make it work.
I'll make it work. And then of course, because my law work was, it was in personal injury, but then that little gap between going to Hawaii, getting my teacher certification, that gap, I worked in another firm where we did a business setup. So, like filing with the Secretary of State, getting the EIN from the federal government, getting your control, like all that stuff. So I already knew how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, I know the money for that. And so I just wrote it all down and I was like, yeah. And then I threw in a little extra because who knows, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, $6,000. She said, okay. How are you going to pay it back? And I was like, over time.
Over time, yeah.
And she was like, we should set up a schedule. And I was like, okay. And I said, I don't know how to do that, And so she was like, okay, well, what feels like something reasonable? And so we just worked our way through it, right? And I went to this building. I met with the guy. It was a tiny little space.
What is this original building? This isn't the one you were just talking about, right?
No. I started in Williamstown, West Virginia. That's where I started my yoga studio. And so I went and looked at the space. It was kind of like on the main drag. And I went and looked at the space, tiny little room. And I don't even remember how much it cost, but it felt astronomical. I'm sure it was probably like $300, and because I wouldn't have been able to afford much more than that. Right? Nowadays, it's like zillions of dollars, So, so I was like, okay, I think I could swing this, like it was all just like a leap of faith, it was all by the universe has my back and there's too much inertia for this not to be the right direction to go. And so I just like one foot in front of the other.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you, did you always listen to that like intuition inside of you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, yes, I think so. But really, once I started doing yoga and had that more, like more of that connection, more of that freedom from like always having my mind spiraling to really being in touch with feeling. Yeah. And so I think that was really the kind of kicker to that really being true. If you ask my family or my friends from when I was younger, like I've always been a free spirit. I've always kind of been just a little outside the box.
Yeah.
Not in like really big or weird ways. I mean, I guess it depends on who you ask, but not really in big or weird ways, but just, just a little bit different. I've always been curious. I've always been a person who says, I think there's a better way, like I don't know if I believe all of that,
Yeah.
like I think I'll tweak that to fit me, that kind of thing. And so when I started yoga, it became even more like
a stronger,
I've got the universe at my back now,
I'm tapped into the cosmos. What's up?
Yeah. So, and since then, yes, that is the way I do everything. If it feels scary, I'm on the right track. And if there's inertia behind it, I can't not do it.
Yeah. So you're in Williamsburg, West Virginia.
Williamstown,
West Virginia. You open the studio.
Yeah.
Like, does it take off immediately? Is it like, are you like, oh shit, how am I going to pay my bills? Like, what is it like immediately as you open it?
So I had been teaching when I came back from training so I opened that studio, I think it was in March. What's true about that? I think it was in March, let's just say, somewhere around there. I came back in December, so I was a full-fledged teacher in December. So I had a friend, Bruce Dye, a chiropractor in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Cool. He had a multi-purpose activity space, and so he let me use that space. And so I was teaching there, and I was building some clientele there before I opened the space in Williamstown. And so I was looking for spaces because at that point I was teaching a little here, I was teaching in a YMCA, I was teaching, like I was doing that. And I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah. New setup every time.
Yeah, totally. And you don't know who's been in the space, doesn't need to be like it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So I found that space and I was like, I'm going to do this. So I had a handful of people already between the several different places that I was teaching. And so I found the space and I was just like, the handful of people I have will take care of it and then we'll just build it from there.
Yeah.
With the dream being, I was in Williamstown. The dream was always to be on Front Street in Marietta because that town is cool and then Front Street is just, so cool.
Yeah.
And so the dream was always to be there in one of those big, beautiful
old brick buildings.
Yeah.
Just like Athens, old brick,
Totally. So that was always the dream. And a year later, I was on Front Street in Marietta.
No way. Wow.
Then it just keeps, it just kept going.
Yeah. So then when does the acupuncture part come in? Like, do you have to go, I'd assume, right? You like are formally trained in it, right? It's like
I am formally trained,
at what point did you pursue that? I actually haven't heard anything about acupuncture
right.
yet.
Yeah. So my first experience with acupuncture was with that chiropractor, Bruce Dye, I told you about. So I had through yoga, I had a pretty substantial shoulder blade injury. And it had gotten to a point where it was just a shadow there. And so I decided to go get some treatment for it. And Bruce is who I went to. And while I was there, part of what was going on with that was a little TMJ action happening too. And he was doing manipulation. And he said, how about if I do some needles on you? And I was like, I never had that before, but, whatever. I trust you. Okay, let's do it. And so that was my first introduction to acupuncture. And it was wild. I had needles in my face. It was really wild. And but it worked. And I was like, how cool. And then years, we're talking like, that was 2004, 2005, something like that. Years and years between. And fast forward into the space where I had gone into solo practice across from Bob Evans over on East State Street. And so that was the last Inhale Yoga Studio space. And I think I opened that in 2015. And then COVID, right? And so right before, at the end of 2019, I had decided I was feeling a lot of physical body problems. My wrists were hurting all the time. My back was hurting all the time. And the pace that I was doing with yoga and Thai massage and private clients was just breaking me down quick, And I was like, okay, I can maybe do 5 more years at this pace. But then what am I going to do with myself, right? And then I thought to myself, why would I like wear myself to the bone for the next 5 years
Yeah.
to then have to change? Like, why not change now while I can reverse the path of what's going on in my body?
Yeah.
So I took some time and I was just like, what next? You know, I was like, okay, universe,
Yeah.
it's time to have a conversation with each other. What's next? You know? And so, the people that I was working on and the friends that I was talking with and just like around all the conversations just started having the word acupuncture in it. It'd be great if you practiced acupuncture. I wish there was an acupuncturist in Athens, you know, like all these things. And I'm like,
Cosmos just dropping dimes to you. Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, acupuncture is not a word that's even in my consciousness, you know, since 2005
Yeah,
or
just some
something.
dude stuck some needles in my face.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I was like, this is not even in my consciousness. So this is a thing, right? Like suddenly I said, show me the way. And now all these things. And I'm like, okay, so let's explore, right? Because to me, well, it is. It's not just to me. It actually is a medical practice. You have to have a medical license to practice. And so I thought you had to be like a doctor or a nurse, like just yoga therapy Michelle. Like, how can she go and be like, let me stick some needles in people, right? So I did some research, and turns out all you need to be an acupuncturist, at least to get admitted into school, is a bachelor's degree in anything.
Shout out to that law degree. Yeah.
Right?
Got us through the door.
So anything. Like, you don't even have to be in a health and wellness
Yeah,
field.
but
And I
that's
was
so
like,
annoying.
whoa.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying. But yeah, get you in the door.
Yeah, well, and I will say, if I'm going through the program, you probably want to have some health and wellness background to go through. I mean, it's intense. And if you don't know the difference between, you know, like a femur and a humerus.
Like anatomy and physiology.
Like,
that's
dude.
kind of what I mean. Yeah. Like you need,
Yeah. So it's a lot. And so, so I found a school in Columbus, and I was like, no way.
Nice.
There's a school here close, so I don't have to go to like California or, you know, like, again, I'm thinking I've got to go somewhere big for this, right? So school in Columbus. So I was like, great. I set up a visit. I went up, I chatted with the staff there and with the director of the program and asked a bunch of questions. And then I came home and I sat with that for a while and processed and, you know, and then I went up again and I got treatment in the clinic there with the students who were going through the program. Cause I'm like, how competent are the students when they're in the student clinic? Like that's a sure sign of the
actions speak louder than words.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got treatment several times there. The girl I treated with is Jessie Huck, and she actually has an acupuncture practice in Marietta now. She just moved back and opened. So Rooted in Company, if you're in the Marietta area, man, go check her out. She's incredible.
Nice.
She's got all kinds of cool toys there. So I treated with her, and I was like, okay, the school is like churning out people you know, that I would feel confident getting treatment with, which means if I go through the program, I will feel confident in providing treatment, right? And then I had talked to the students who were in the clinic too about like, what's program like?
But what is this regimen? Is this like kind of like school? Like it's like block things? Or, like
it's a master's degree program.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's a master's level program.
I see.
And you are simultaneously learning Western medicine and Eastern medicine. So you have to go through, you know, all the standards that you would expect, anatomy and physiology, palpation skills, all that kind of stuff. You have to learn disease pharmacology, like all of that from the Western medicine side.
Wow.
And then on top of that, you have to learn the Chinese medicine side as well. And you're doing this in tandem. So you have to learn the way Chinese medicine thinks about like the mindset of how we see a disease that we would give a name to in Western medicine. So we look at things from symptoms, not by names, right? And so it's like people come to us and they might say something like, I have anxiety. Well, anxiety is so many different things. It could be a physical experience. It could be a mental experience. It could be a combination of both of those. And so we're like, you have anxiety. How does that present? right? And so then we get to be, I mean, it just goes so much in line with my curiosity about everything. So I get to be really curious, and I get to ask questions of people that you would never ask questions of people, you know? And so I'm like, how does that present? And then they start telling me this list of symptoms, the way that it presents. And then that gets my mind in Chinese medicine thinking like, oh, there's an excess or a deficiency here. There's a too much yin or not enough, too much yang or not enough. You know, there's all these different ways. Like it's in the heart system, it's in the liver system, it's in the kidney system. Like it starts putting all these puzzle pieces together so that you can create a treatment which is using the points to work within those systems for those particular symptoms. So even though I'm treating anxiety, I'm treating, let's say, an anxiety from like a liver blood deficiency or something like that. And so, you know, like all those questions point to that diagnosis. So we don't even use the word anxiety to diagnose. We diagnose as a liver blood deficiency or a liver qi stagnation or kidney yang deficiency or, you know, something like that. And that has a set of symptoms that go in it that are very similar, if not exact.
So Western medicine would call it anxiety. Eastern medicine would call it the liver blood. I see.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so, yeah. So that's what the schooling is like: is learning how to be really symptom driven instead of naming it.
Yeah. Words suck. Like they're really, yeah. Words suck.
Yeah. And because the problem is, people don't want to not have anxiety. They want to not have the heart palpitations and the racing mind and the inability to fall asleep.
Regulation of those things. Yeah,
exactly. And so what they want is for those things to clear up.
But what they're telling you is, I want to get rid of my anxiety.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because that's the way our system is set up, right?
Yeah.
It's like we have anxiety, and I don't want to have anxiety. And it's like, well, what part of that don't you want? You know, and so
it's like further clarification, further specifying, like not anxiety, whether like, oh, my heart's racing, or like my thoughts are, yeah, okay,
exactly. And so, and then of course, you know, in school, so we have to learn all that. You know, you have to learn like the liver organ system. So not actually the liver in your body. It's different in Chinese medicine. It's still the liver in your body, but that system is in charge of so many things, like the free flow of qi, the regulation of blood, especially for menstruation. Like it assists in digestion, like all these different things. And so you have to learn that. Like, what does that system do? And how does it stay in balance? How does it get out of balance?
How much background did you have in this? Like from your yoga teacher training and stuff, like, did you have any background in anatomy? Like law, like a business degree couldn't be farther from, like, I feel like anatomy and physiology.
Right.
You know? Like what was your experience prior to this course? Like, was there a big learning curve?
Yes and no. So from the physical body side, I was locked in, right? Because I had up to this point, I'd been like 15 years in the acupuncture or in the yoga therapy realm. So yoga therapy is all about how the machine works, right? What the muscles are,
That makes sense,
how they work, you know, like all that. So, and then of course with Thai massage, I have palpation skills for days, right?
What is that, palpation skills?
Like being able to touch people and feel what's going on. So like from that perspective, I was ahead of the game. But everything else, no. It was a huge learning curve. I mean, it was steep.
Yeah.
And so...
but if you're scared, you're on the right path. Yeah, I got you.
Truth. And go back to Hawaii in 2003 when I learned that lesson about, like, don't give up so soon. So I get into acupuncture school. Hawaii comes back to mind, right? I go into acupuncture school. I am there the first week and drowning. And everything's unfamiliar. Right? Everything is just not great. And so at the end of the first week, I'm like, oh crap, I don't know if I can do this. Like I'm not prepared for this. All the things that I've done before that I thought would like integrate so well are not, you know, like this is really steep and I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can work full time in my studio, school full time. And at the time, I was dating someone with kids. Like, I don't know that I could be a partner,
Wear all these
a
hats.
business owner, and a student.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot. And the school was in Columbus. So I would drive up on Tuesday night. I would stay overnight. I rented a room in this lady's home. So I would stay overnight, Tuesday night, and then I'd be in school Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we would finish up on Friday, and then I would come home just in time to meet up with the guy and his kids. And then it's like, part-time parenting, but also doing school and also starting to fit my yoga and private work in that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, part day Tuesday, because that's when I had to do homework and work and be a partner.
Yeah. Stimulation.
It was so much.
Stimulation.
It was so much. And so that was I started school in September of 2019, and that rolled through Christmas, to Christmas. That was the first semester. And the first week I was just like, I don't know. And the second week I was like, I don't know. The third week I was like, I can't get a refund and I'm in it. And some of this will go to my continuing education for my yoga therapy license and this and that. So I'm going to get something out of it. Yeah. And so I said to myself, you know better than to give up early. So ride this out to the end of the semester. You'll get something out of it no matter if you decide to go forward. Just ride it out and see how you feel at the end of the semester. Because it's only 3 months. You can do anything for 3 months, right? And so ride it out until you find out what's really up at the end. And if by the end you're like, okay, I don't think this is the path for me, fair enough. But at the end, if you're like, this is really hard, but I think I can do it, then you're on for the second quarter.
Yeah, that's the topic that you're talking about, that knowing when to push and when to that is just this all life all the time. Right. Where do you listen? Where do you not? Where do you push? Where do you quit?
Right.
Yeah, that's such a difficult thing. But I mean, introspection, right? I could understand how 15 years of yoga would allow you to be introspective.
Totally,
sure. Yeah.
Totally. And then, of course, also, 20 years of the universe having my back too. Yeah. It is the deepest core belief that I have, I think, the universe is always conspiring in my favor, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It's always conspiring in my favor. And so, I really trust in that. And then I can't remember, there's so much stuff on social media and I pick up little things here and there, but I had seen something or read something one time about the pivot, and I probably listened to a podcast and somebody was talking about the pivot and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, yeah, I go until it's time to pivot, and it's really hard, that period of pivot, because up to the point that I started acupuncture school, this town in Athens, I'm Yoga Michelle. And still, it's years later, and still people identify me as Yoga Michelle. And I'm not Yoga Michelle anymore. Yeah. I'm Michelle the acupuncturist now, with a little bit of yoga on the side. But that pivot was really rough because my whole identity was wrapped up in that pivot. Yeah. Right? My whole identity was Yoga Michelle. And it's like, who am I if I'm not her?
Death before death, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was a moment. It was a moment. And then, it keeps going and, you create a new identity, or at least I have tried to create a new identity and get things rolling, and you kind of sacrifice a part of yourself to be the newest version,
Yeah. That's really cool. That gets us to today. Now you've got an acupuncture business in Athens. So then what's your week to week look like? Is it pretty regular? Are you just doing a pop-up yoga when you want and accepting clients? Do people typically come to you direct, or is it you have to get referred to an acupuncturist?
It depends.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there to unpack. So my day-to-day, I work Wednesday to Friday.
Nice.
So the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur is you set your own schedule.
Yeah.
And I am dedicated to a quality work-life balance. And so, I try to get my patients to be dedicated as well. Even when I was teaching yoga, I have always been in a place where I want to practice what I preach. Like I want to model the things that I tell other people to do.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm saying to you, like, get good sleep, and here's me posting on social media at 3 a.m. or out partying, I mean, there's a time for that occasionally, whatever. Right. But like, if that's the norm, like I don't really have the ground to stand on.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. You got to be about it too.
Exactly. So, so I'm all about work-life balance. So in my clinic, I work Wednesday through Friday. My first patient's at 10 a.m. I take my last patient at 5:30. So it's a long day. I'm there at 9:30. I don't get out until 7.
Damn.
And so they're long days, but I also only see 6, maybe 7 patients a day. So I have 2 treatment rooms, and I'm going to get murdered by the go-getters and the overachievers that listen to this. But I have 2 treatment rooms, and I only use one at any given time. Anyone else in the world is like, I need to be running both of those at the same time.
But how would you, like, bringing in somebody else and like letting them kind of rent out?
I could do that. Yeah.
How would you personally though treat? Oh, well, because you set them up and then they're waiting for 30 minutes and then you come over here and say,
that's correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just seems like a juggle game. Like,
Totally.
Something goes wrong over here and now you got, like, I would be very nervous to do that.
Yeah.
Seems like you're spreading a little thin, but
It's a big time management thing. And in my clinic, I'm the only one. So I don't have a
employees?
front desk staff.
Oh, wow.
I don't have anybody to clean and change
Why
the
is it
rooms.
that way? Just is it easier for you to manage just all yourself, or?
Yeah, because I want to work small.
Yeah,
I don't need, I'm not chasing the hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Like I don't need that. I want what I need to live the life that I want, and I don't want to overwork. I really want that work-life balance. And so for me, putting it together to where I'm Wednesday through Friday, 6 or 7 patients in each of those days, on a traditional week, I might see somewhere between 15 and 18 patients, and 18 is pushing it for me.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
if I'm somewhere in that, and I've done it before where I've been in that like 18 to 22 patients a week, I am brain dead by Friday.
That sucks, yeah.
And I don't like that,
Yeah,
I don't like to go home and then just crash and have to have that whole night to just be like, a blob on the couch to wake up the next morning and be like, okay, maybe I'm alive again.
Yeah.
So that's my week, and Wednesday through Friday, 6 or 7 patients a day. It's by appointment only, so I don't do walk-ins. And I'm typically, like right now, I have a few appointments left for August. I have a few appointments left for September, and I'm scheduling for October.
That far out. Wow.
Yeah. So it's usually 4 to 6 weeks to start treating with me. And I do make exceptions, and this is where that second treatment room really comes in handy. So I do make exceptions. For instance, last month, I don't know what's going on, but out of nowhere, I had 2 people a week apart call me with Bell's palsy.
What is Bell's palsy? I've heard of it before.
Bell's palsy is where the nerves in your face stop working. And so either you get... usually get more droopy, like a stroke.
Yeah.
But in Bell's palsy, it's usually more taut. Like they just don't work. At least when you feel them, that's what it feels like from a practitioner perspective. From a patient perspective, it's numb, and they have no access to using those muscles on their face. So and Bell's palsy is one of those things, just like a stroke, like an acute sprain, those kinds of things, like you want to treat those right now. There's no time to wait on those, because what happens is your body is trying to heal from it, and it's going to lay down new neuromuscular patterns, and that's going to create a way in which your body is so intelligent. It will do whatever it has to get around the problem, so you continue to function, right? And you don't want that. That's not the thing you want.
Like atrophy, like the parts that are cut off? Like, is that why?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So your body will just, like, if your index finger doesn't work, it'll teach you how to use your middle finger and thumb instead in its place. And then it just stops. It's like
Yeah.
your brain doesn't have a signal to it anymore, right? So the same like with Bell's palsy, like if you don't get in there and work on that really quickly, your body forgets how to chew on that side, or it forgets how to smile or purse your lips or open and close your eye, you know. It
It is
just
cool that you
finds
have the
other ways.
capacity to help them still.
Yeah. And so for me, like that's what that second treatment room's
Yeah,
for. It's like if I've got to get somebody in there with an emergent condition that needs treatment now, I've got the capacity to do that and then offset that on a client that has been there for a long time, knows the ropes, you know, like they're going to be fine. If normally I leave people for 20 minutes on the table, they're going to be fine if they lay on the table for 30 minutes or 40 minutes while I get this other thing sorted out, right? So that's for me what that second treatment room is for. It's not for like, let's offset patients all day long and like make more bank. Like, I'm just not chasing bank.
It's like, it's okay. Yeah, I made enough money. I'm going to go hit the paddleboard now.
Exactly.
That's my favorite Instagram post from you, when you're on a paddleboard.
Yeah.
That always looks so awesome.
Yeah. It's so much fun. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do. And I work on everything, you know, so I haven't declared a specialty because, again, I don't like being put in boxes.
So they do that? They're like, I'm an acupuncture specialist for lower backs? Or like, what do you mean?
Totally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There are some people who just treat lower back. So there's some people who just treat sports-related injuries or that just treat fertility issues or
So
whatever.
maybe just because their market is big enough that they can subset that
I
versus
think so.
if there's 12 in your city.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and my goal is to get people well and get them off my book, right? Like I tend to run my treatments, like say you're a new patient and you come in for shoulder pain, let's say.
I have shoulder pain.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you come in for shoulder pain and you call me and you say, I've been having this shoulder pain and, you know, I'm a contractor or, you know, I work at a computer all the time or whatever. Like I have this shoulder pain and it doesn't matter what I do. I can stretch, you know, I can rest well. I take ibuprofen. It doesn't really seem to help, you know, that kind of thing. And I say, okay, so we can get you in. It's going to be not until October. I'm sorry. If I get a cancellation, I'll get you in sooner. But let's go ahead and get you on the October schedule. And what I want to do is see you weekly for 3, 4, 5 appointments. Something around there, because that's when things really start to like change. You'll feel something the first visit. And a lot of times people are like, holy cow, I feel so much better. I don't even need to come back. I go, not true. Keep your appointments, because what you'll find is you'll feel great. And then about 5 days after that first treatment, it'll start to creep back in like a little shadow. And I'm like, don't worry about that. I got you on my calendar. Like, I know how this is going to go, right?
Yep.
So I want to see you. So if people follow my treatment plans, by the time that 4th or 5th week comes around, I'm only seeing them for maintenance. I only want to see them 4 to 6 weeks later, you know? And then we just keep that as kind of a regular maintenance schedule for them, because you're not going to stop sleeping the way you do. You're not going to quit your job. Your postural habits don't change that much, you know, like, so all the things that compiled in to make that happen are still there. So we get you back to health and wellness, moving in a way that makes sense for you. And then we just sustain that. We just remind your body every 4 to 6 weeks, hey, you're still fine despite living. You're still fine. You still know how to pull this back into balance. And then, you know, something acute might happen, like you're a regular patient of mine, something acute might happen where, you know, whatever, you go hard and you climb and you fall and you twist your ankle and you're like, hey, dude, I twisted my ankle. And I'm like, come in, let's put you on the second treatment table. I'll throw some needles in you, put some electricity on it. You'll be fine in no time. And then, you know, you just go about your day.
Yeah.
But that's typically what it's like to see me, you know, is like it takes a while to get in. And then if you follow the treatment plan that, you know, time after time after time has shown results that I believe in and trust, like if you follow that, things will go well. And if they don't go well, then there's something else going on that you don't know about and that I don't know about, right? And so then at that point, I'm like, we need to call somebody else in, or we need some imaging, or, you know, like there's something.
More information.
We need more information, and maybe acupuncture is the way that you continue forward with more information, or You might now need a chiropractor or an osteopath
Yeah. I think it's very, very honorable of you to acknowledge the limitation of what the service that you're providing. Like, to be like, this may not even,
Right.
like that, I think leads back to the, like, be about what you talk about, like, that's pretty cool. Like, very selfless to be like, yeah, just give me all your money. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry. Like, I will fix you. Oh, we just need 12 more sessions, because like that could happen.
Yeah. Well, and it does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen. It happens in every industry, and this industry is no different, and perhaps that's true. Maybe 12 more sessions, there is this magical moment where the switch just trips and suddenly you're better. But I don't want thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from you. I want you healthy and well in your life, right? So I want you to see some results. I want those results to be fairly quickly. And because I've done this for long enough now, the medicine has proven itself to me. I know what to expect. And so if I'm not seeing what I expect, and I've gone back and said, did I ask the right questions? Did I make the right diagnosis? Am I doing the right thing? Have I tweaked it enough for it to be more effective, for whatever? If I've done all of that and there's not results, there's something else going on, and it's outside of what I can do, because you get 100% of me when you get me. I research, like if I don't know what it is, I research, I learn about it. I find out what all those symptoms are. I tweak the programs. Like, I am there with you, for you, 100%. And if all that I have to give doesn't make a result, I'm not your person.
All you can do is all you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not your person, and I don't want to take money from you and make you think that I'm your person, and eventually it'll change.
Yeah.
Because if I don't believe it, it's not going to happen. Right?
Yeah.
And if I've lost belief, I want you to go to somebody else who believes they can fix you.
Well, because then at that point, you're just kind of selling. Yeah, like, how can you sell some shit you don't even believe in? That's
Truth.
For sure, yeah. So then is that, like, kind of how your calendar fills up, or why it's so hard is because once you get somebody, it's like, you get 4 people that need to be there for 4 weeks in a row. It's like you've just cut 2/3 of your open appointments for the next month. Is that part of why it's so hard?
Yeah.
And then you kind of like just mix in the people that are coming back for the 4s and 6, and wow, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so typically, if I take a new patient, I'm usually, not because I'm capping this or anything, but just, again, universe looking out for me. I usually will get 2, maybe 3 new patients a month. And that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, when you're doing 4 to 6 appointments with each, 18, again, that's the week you said, holy shit, So every month you're like, holy shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I look at my calendar. I have an intern with me right now. And so I was just looking at my calendar for August last week, and I have 2 holy shits when I look at my calendar. First, I look at my calendar and I'm like, holy shit, there are so much appointments that haven't been taken up. How am I going to meet all the needs for the clinic, with that many empty appointments? And then about a week to 10 days later, I look at my calendar and I'm like, holy shit, I don't have enough appointments to rebook the people who are on those maintenance treatments. How am I going to make this work?
Oh.
And then, and then I travel. Like, I love to travel. I work to live, not live to work, right? And so travel's my thing. And so, then I'm taking time off. And so I'm taking off, 2 to 2.5 weeks in September. So that really messes, on the calendar perspective, it really messes things up, right? Which is why currently I'm like, August has a few, September has a few, and I'm booking into October. September would be about half full if I was still there, if I was going to be there, but I'm booking in October because I'm taking that time, right? Yeah. And so it gets tricky because every 3 months or so, that's kind of what we get. Because again, I can do anything for 3 months, and in about 3 months, I'm like, I gotta stop and reassess and, check back in with me instead of always checking in with you.
Yeah, which is the dance of an entrepreneur, right?
Totally.
It's like riding the line, like, yeah.
Totally. Yep, totally. And so, so when I get new patients, it definitely cuts the schedule a lot and very quickly. I think most months I have like 50 to 60 open visits a month.
Yeah.
And then And then after that, it's just like, and sometimes I do the things which I've been doing lately, which is, oh, you need to get it. Besides like something like Bell's palsy or a stroke, there's no acupuncture emergency.
Oh, really?
You know,
Okay.
like there's no reason that you need to get in to see an acupuncturist today.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just no emergency.
Pretty like low stress from the scheduling standpoint, other than those couple things.
Exactly. But, you know, as a patient, when something's going on with you and it just happened all of a sudden, which it didn't just happen all of a sudden, but now it's happening so big that you're like, oh my God, I need to be seen, right? To you, it's an emergency. But you've been dealing with it for weeks, so it's not an emergency at all, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I will get convinced of your emergency. And because I have a second treatment room, I'll be like, okay, well, at 10 o'clock, I've got an easy patient. It's just needles, like in and out. So I could see you at 10:30. And then what happens when I do that, and it's fine. I mean, again, I just want to help people. So it's fine. But what happens is I don't get to write my notes. I don't get to put the laundry on or fold it or move it into the dryer.
Butterfly effect.
Tumbles
it all down. Yeah.
Because I'm there by myself, I am the acupuncturist. I am the medical assistant. I am the janitor. You know, like I am all the things.
All the hats. Yeah.
And with the schedule that I have, seeing 6 patients every hour, you know, a patient every hour and a half, that gives me a 15 or 20 minute window to write the note, eat the food, go to the bathroom, change the laundry over, sweep the floor, you know, like whatever else needs to be done, I'm doing it, you know, in all of those time periods. And so whenever I schedule, you know, 2 treatment rooms, something else gets left.
Yeah.
And then I'm behind, you know, in whatever realm that is. It's no big deal. I mean, I always catch up, but it's also that thing of like, it just flows better when it's on every hour and a half, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then are most of these people just like, I've had the shoulder pain for a while, or is it like they've gone to a chiropractor already? Or like, what is the typical candidate? Like, what does their path to you look like? Like, how because I don't know. I feel like a lot of people aren't like, oh, acupuncture is what's going to fix. You know, I don't know. It's not the first thing you're thinking of.
No,
for sure.
It is not. And I wish that were not true. Like, I wish when somebody was like, you know, my back's been hurting for a couple of days, that their first thought would be, I'm going to go to acupuncture, or I'm going to get a massage, or I'm going to see a chiropractor, like now, you know, as soon as I can get in. I wish that was their first thought. But typically, it's not. It's like,
I'm not dying today. Whatever. Keep on.
Exactly.
Whatever.
I'll just power through, right?
Yeah,
Pop a few ibuprofen, power through, no big deal. Because acute conditions, things that just kind of come on, they're so easy to turn around if you address them then.
Yeah.
But those chronic things, you know, which is why I tell people, because I see chronic patients, basically. Like, it's rare that I get somebody who's like, you know, I just started having this shoulder pain. My friend said acupuncture might help. I wanted to try to get on your schedule. And be like, okay, great. That's rare. It's so rare. Mostly it's chronic pain, which is why I say 3, 4, 5 visits in a row, because if it's chronic, it's been there for a while, and your body will get the message when I give you the treatment, but it's so conditioned to that pattern, that neuromuscular pattern, that after a while it's going to go back to what it knows. And so I'm trying to convince it that that's actually not the healthy version of yourself. This is the healthy version of yourself. And, you know, after we work out tissue issues and, you know, systemic issues and all of that kind of stuff, your body is kind of like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's like scarcity and abundance. It's like you don't have to stay in this scarce, like, I'm just got to make it through the day. Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I forgot where we started that question, actually.
I think I asked like 7, and then you just gracefully went through them all. But no, that's all we could, like, what, like, do you have, I don't know, what keeps you excited? Just being able to help people? Like, I'm like, why is it important to you?
Yeah, I love helping people. I'm really excited when I get new patients, because it's how can I say this in a way that doesn't sound not nice? Well, whatever. It's coming up this way. It's like getting a new toy, right? And every, even if it's shoulder pain, every shoulder pain is different because every person is different, and their life circumstances are different. And so it's a new puzzle for me to figure out, right? So I love new patients for that. It's just I get to really dive in. I get to really kind of pick it apart. I love complicated cases like the Bell's palsy or, a stroke, or I love complicated cases like that too, because it requires more of me. So that gets me really excited, when I have that. It does take a lot from me too, like mentally, physically, energetically, all of that. It does take a lot from me, but I love that. I get really excited about it. And then I love my patients who come back, who are on their maintenance and they're following their maintenance and their life is improved. Like, I'm excited by that. The treatment itself might not excite me as much as like a new patient anymore. But what I'm excited about in those patients is celebrating their wins, like if somebody came and they were having panic attacks because of a particular situation and they come and say, I found myself in that situation and I didn't have a panic attack. I'm like, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Right? Like that is the most incredible thing, and it's like, in some ways I'm like, I did that, but I didn't do that. We did that. Right. Yeah. It's like, it's so exciting that I got to be part of that journey. And I got the privilege of the vulnerability it takes for somebody to, one, allow you to stick needles in you, and the vulnerability it takes to really speak your pain to another person, for that person to get to sit in that with you and really kind of understand that and be on your team and want better for you. It's not just you wanting better for you. It's me wanting better for you too. And so to celebrate things like that, like that's what gets me really excited too, is somebody's like, I had this situation and I didn't have a panic attack. Or, I worked a really hard, stressful week and my back didn't hurt at all. And, and I'm just like, this is amazing. I'm so happy for you. That kind of thing. So those are the things that get me excited. And it allows me to be in a place of a cheerleader for somebody else. People cheer for me so much, they support me so much, whether they come to a yoga class or they come to acupuncture or, they support whatever pivot is coming next. Right. They support me so much. And so this is a way that I get to be a cheerleader for somebody else. Yeah. And it's just beautiful and it's really brilliant. And those are the things that I get really, really excited about.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I appreciate that there are people out in the world like you.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Well, it sounds like this is coming to a natural conclusion.
Yeah, here. Yeah. No, this is beautiful. I appreciate it. So how could somebody, do you have a website, Facebook, Instagram? How can people find you, contact you, get an appointment?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's inhaleyoga.org. On Facebook, it's Inhale Wellness Studio, and the same on Instagram. Cool. And those are the only places that I do anything, and reluctantly so. Social media is like not my favorite.
Hate social media. Yeah.
Hate it so much. I know it's the way of our day, and so I feed the algorithm and try not to get sucked in by it. But even that, you have to be sucked in a little bit for the algorithm to dude, show what you feed.
Even too, just like starting the podcast, like I'm trying to like pay attention to these businesses and like see what they have going. So it's like there is a utility to keeping an eye on it, but for sure it's just like my screen time went up over an hour a day when I when I started this podcast, and so it's just like I get that. But
side note, I was looking at my screen time, and I did the math on the screen time. So I don't know, it was something like 4 hours a day. And some of that's productive work, right? Because I use my phone to check out patients. I use that to look up and do research when I'm in the clinic, whatever. But still, my screen time was like 4.5 hours a day. And so I was like, okay, 4.5 hours a day, 365 days a week. What is that? Or 365 days a year. What does that look like? And when I did the math on that, it was about 30 days of 24 hours that I give to being on the screen. And I mean, it gave me real pause.
Arithmetic is scary.
Because it's That's a month. But then if you don't do that in 24-hour days and you just do like half day, right? Like your waking hours or whatever, let's just say 12 hours to make it half and easy. That's 2 full months of my life
In 1 year.
in 1 year that I spend on a screen. And if you would ask anyone, I would like to take 2 years of your life, or 2 months of your life away this year for nothing, for doing nothing. I don't know a single person who would be like, sure, I'll give you 2 months. Yet we do it every day in tiny little increments that over the course. And it's like, what would I do with myself if I had those 2 months? So I've been playing around with that. You know, like that's my current like health and wellness trend for myself. You know,
cool.
It's like, what would I do? Like when I want to reach for the screen, what if I reached for a book? If I want to reach for the screen, what if I like went for a walk or weeded a garden or, you know, like what would I do with my time if I had it back? And how much of that time is truly wasted, right? I mean, again, screen is the way for all the things. And like I said, you know, like it's a checkout and booking system, it's a research system, it's all these things. But let's be clear, I waste a lot of time on social media.
Yeah.
And so, like, what would I do if I had that time back?
I'm glad that I hope somebody hears that question and asks their own self how they could repurpose some of their time. That's powerful. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was so good about it until I got the social media apps back, and it just like immediately ramped up. But I keep it on my like as soon as I open my phone, like it's just right there every time. Hour and 20 already. I'm at 2:02 p.m. Instagram is 43 minutes of that hour and 20, right?
Yeah.
Kill me. But no. So like that's just kind of how keeping it like just awareness of it. Every time I open my phone, I have to look at it. That's helped a little bit too. But
well, and that's my kind of like my year exploration this year. It's like I'm not doing anything drastic to make changes. I'm just collecting data, right? And asking the questions. It's like, why did I go to social media right now? Is it because I'm bored? Is it because I'm like waiting at a doctor's office? I mean, we used to wait at a doctor's office and read magazines, right? Like you'd read a magazine article there. So why am I not doing that now?
Yeah.
You know? And so like this year is a year of research, and then also like sharing that with my close friends, right? Like social media is so many people who are friends, but not really.
Acquaintances.
You know? Yeah. And so with my close friends, excuse me, with my close friends, I am also putting out there, you know, like I've sent text messages to them where we might be talking with each other in the messaging apps within those. And I've said, I would like to talk with you over text message or have an actual phone call with you, or better yet, can we schedule to meet in person and hang out and have coffee and chat, so that I don't, you know, and if something cool is happening in your life, would you text me a picture directly so I don't have to seek that out on social media? Because we used to do that, right?
Yeah.
We used to.
I still do that for sure. Like the people I want to talk to, for sure.
Yeah. And so I'm like, can we take our relationship out of that venue and put it into something that's more real,
intimate? Yeah.
And then it made me go, who are the people that I really want to be intimate in that way with, right?
Connected
like
to,
of the hundreds of followers, you know. And so it starts to put into perspective, like what are the meaning of the followers there, you know, like is it really a business page or is it kind of a business and friend page? And so like really getting clear on those things so that I use my time wisely. And also the content I put on there is kind of proper content, because for me, my content has always been like the brand is me, right? The brand is like, I am modeling how to live a balanced, or I'm trying to anyway, how to live a balanced, healthy, wellness-based life.
Which is what you said before. Walk the walk that you're talking.
Exactly.
Right? Back it up. Yeah.
Exactly. So it gets tricky when it comes to social media, though, because, you know, like the other day I was posting where I had gone to a walk in the Hocking Hills and went and had ice cream. And like, that's part of the brand too. Like, I am not perfect. And it's not imperfect to have ice cream,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, don't do that every day,
Yeah.
right? Like this was a tourist event for myself in the area to be with me. You know, I do eat the ice cream. I absolutely have the donuts. You know, I'm totally going to stuff my face with a burger. But those are things that are like special occasion type moments for me. And no judgment, like do you, you know, like if ice cream's your thing, like ice cream the heck out of ice cream. But you know, for me, I know that that's not, it doesn't speak to the goals of my lifestyle, nor does it give me ground to speak to others,
Yeah.
you know, about wellness and all that kind of stuff. And so it's tricky with social media because it's like, I don't want to just be like a business advertising page, you know, like come see me. Here are my appointments. Here's a picture of something I did in the clinic. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it seems so boring that way.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And my life is not that and again, it's not all about work, right? Like it's just not all about work. And so, you know, the hike and nature and water and, you know, like you said, paddleboarding, like all
Is that
those things are,
is that Let's Adventure Ohio? Is that you too?
yeah.
We could talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
I had forgot about it, but I think like that's really cool too. Like again, part of the like work-life balance. Like that whole page is just like you're out in nature and shit, right? Yeah.
Truth, yeah. So Let's Adventure Ohio. It's actually, I have a second business. It's a side hustle.
No way. Okay,
With my
cool.
brother. Yeah, and so our family has property directly on the Ohio River in Racine. And last year, we decided to open a water adventure company where we lead tube events and kayak events, paddleboard events, where we lead those, but also we do rentals for people to explore the Ohio River. And right now, our kind of range is from the Racine Lock all the way down to could be like the Pomeroy Marina, right? And it just depends. Most of the time we're in the Racine Lock to the Racine Marina just because the people that we're getting right now are not like super water enthusiasts,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
want to have a good time, right?
Is that like is that part of the river smaller? Or what is like or is it just a shorter distance? What
It's a shorter
yeah,
distance.
okay.
Yeah. So from the dam to the marina is like a mile and a half nautical miles.
I see. Okay.
So, but that's when you equate that into a tube float, that's like a 5-hour tube float. If you equate that into like a kayak paddle, that's like a 2-hour kayak paddle, and that's like you're just paddling, like you're just going, like not that you're taking in the scenes or letting it be relaxy or whatever. So so we're doing kind of that smaller scope. My sister and I had done from our headquarters, which is kind of halfway between the dam and the marina, from our headquarters to the Pomeroy Marina a couple years ago on 4th of July, and that's an all-day trip. Like you're on at 10 o'clock and you're not off until like 6. And
Yeah.
it's a lot.
That's cool.
It's a lot. And then my sister, brother, and I did from above the lock, and we came down. So it was like a 1.5 nautical miles to the dam, and then another 1.5 miles to where we are. And again, all-day trip, and we lock through. So we actually paddled the kayaks and paddle boards into the locking chamber, rode the water down,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
cool.
went out. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff we do at Adventure Ohio.
Nice.
Is, you know, we take people on these excursions, or we rent their equipment to them and then give them, like, talk with them about like what kind of excursion do you want to have, like what do you want to do you just want to paddle around and relax, do you want to go to the other side of the river, do you want to have like a long casual float like that, and then we make recommendations and do the transportation and put things where they need to be for them,
like logistically. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah. And that's my brother and I. My brother is Ed, George, depends.
Cool.
His name's George Edward. We call him Eddie, but he's an adult now, so I think people call him Ed. But yeah, so he's my partner in that business, and he lives there on the grounds, and so.
So, like, where could you go? Like, just the Let's Adventure Ohio Instagram page? That's where you could book or learn more?
Yeah, so on Instagram, we have that. We have a Facebook page, Adventure Ohio, and then we also have Adventure Ohio. I think it's let'sadventureohio.com is our website too. But anyway, if you put Adventure Ohio, Racine, Ohio, you'll find us.
Cool.
So we have booking on our website, so you can totally go to our website and book. And then if you just want to see what cool stuff we're up to, either of our socials have that. We typically put events in Facebook events too. And then, like whenever I'm adventure is my life. Like if I'm not working, I'm trying to find some cool adventure, right? So I oftentimes post in Let's Adventure Ohio. When I'm out on an adventure, and so if I'm doing some activity on the water. So I think what you saw recently was I was at Blackwater Falls on the paddleboard and had the beaver dams and all that. Yeah, that was so cool. That was really cool. So yeah, I'll post in there whenever I'm out on an adventure and do things like that as well, just to kind of keep a little bit in that page, because with the company, we're still new, so we're not doing a whole lot, right? Yeah. So we're not creating a lot of content from that, and I'm not a person who just like tries to find content for the sake of content.
Yeah.
So it'll sit quiet for quite some time.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And then I'll go in and be like, I don't think
there are rules. Yeah.
Here's some stuff. Like here's some things that we're getting up to. And the same happens with my acupuncture business. Like I post stuff in stories, but the page itself doesn't always get, stuff on it frequently. I try to put something on once or twice a month that's like on the page that lives there, and then, throw something up in the stories every once in a while. But again, it's just, if you don't love social media, it's hard.
Stay off it, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just hard. It's like I want people to see, but also it's just like I don't want to be the one showing them. Like somebody else can do that for me. But yeah, it's totally,
the dance.
Totally.
It's the dance.
So it is what it is. But yeah, so there's a lot going on, like this work-life balance thing. I got my adventure company with my brother, which gives me family time and being back where I grew up and on the river that I love, and snorkeling and swimming and mermaiding and paddling and all the things. I get to do all that in that company. And then I've got my wellness company, which like makes my heart so happy to help people live lives that are just full and beautiful. And then, I've got occasionally a yoga thing here or there.
I'm going to have to come to a class for sure. So what's up? Yeah.
And then, and then I've got just me, and me travels and then like pulls all those other pieces together when I'm traveling.
Do you have anything fun lined up already? You're looking forward to? Oh, September. Where are you going to in September?
So September, September I'm going to be in Columbus. I've got a friend coming in from Florida, so she's teaching there. So I'm going to go up and spend the weekend with her in Columbus. And while she's working, I'll adventure around and find some new things. This year has been like a waterfall year. So I'm like chasing waterfalls,
Cool.
So I'll find some waterfall somewhere around there, probably. And then my friend Amanda and I are going to Pymatuning State Park in Pennsylvania. And we're going to take my pop-up camper and we'll hang out there at the state park. There's a big lake there, so we'll paddle and we'll hike and we'll see what kind of adventure we run into there. So we're doing that. And then in December, I'm going back to Bonaire. I'm going to go with my fella and some of his friends, and we're going to go to Bonaire. And I've been once.
Where's Bonaire?
Bonaire is in the Dutch Caribbean with Aruba and Curacao.
Okay.
If you are a snorkeler, a scuba diver, anybody who loves life underwater, Bonaire is where it's at.
Nice.
It's so cool. It's like all off the beach. So you don't even have to hire a boat. You just like literally drive up to the spot, put your gear on, get in the water, and there you are.
Wicked, yeah.
It's amazing. So we'll go back to Bonaire, and then every winter I take a lot of time off, and in February and March, and I go somewhere really cool. So this year it was Grenada. Next year we're going to Bora Bora, Tahiti, and Moria. They're all right there together. So we're going to island hop over in the French Polynesian area.
How exciting. Michelle, my face hurts from smiling this whole podcast. What a pleasure it was to have you in here. I would, thanks for being who you are. I'm glad the community can lean on you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It was a really fun day.
Awesome.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Michelle,
bye.
Thanks.